Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts on the game is I own a little bit of I own a lot how we set up in the game. I thought I wanted us to get a hold of the ball a little bit more. We had guys in decent spots, but we didn't keep the ball. We didn't get the ball switched from one side to the other as quickly as we had liked. We turned it over too much. So and then we were exposed. We were too far apart from each other defensively. Our back line wasn't so much connected with our midfield. Front group stepping out, and they were able to too easily kind of just play through us. We were just disconnected. We didn't defend the widths very well. So that was kind of the theme that just kept happening throughout most of the first half is we were losing balls and too often and too easily, and then we were exposed. And defensively, we just never ended up back together as a group where we could just defend and protect ourselves as a group. There was always just gaps between us, and again, we struggled to defend a bit on the wide channels with those wingbacks getting forward. So a lot of things to take away. I learned a lot of things about our group. Just I continue to learn about them every day, and things that I would definitely not do again as we went through this experience. And a lot of things that as a group we have to just behaviors and things that we are not recognizing, not reading that we as a group need to be better at to protect ourselves specifically, but also to be able to unbalance teams and to hurt them more. I feel like we didn't hurt them enough. As far as the second half, yeah, the objective was, we weren't close enough to where we needed to be in the first half, so we needed to change something. Derek Williams took a knock, which was the reason for taking him out. So that's why Nick came in. Then we just needed to change the shape. We needed to have two holding midfielders to try to protect the space that they were just playing in off of the strikers to link things up. And so I wanted another guy sitting in front, but I didn't want to get too defensive. So I wanted Sasha to be in there to try to help us create attacks and step forward when the spaces. And we went for it for the first 15, 20 minutes to see if we couldn't get one back and change the flow and the momentum of the game. And we did so in some ways. We left a couple chances, I thought, on the table that we didn't finish, or we didn't finish the attacks the way we would like to. And then I thought as we didn't get that goal and guys started to wear down, little things started to happen. We started to get more exposed again as we were pushing the game a little bit too fast and getting separated. So there's the long version of the night.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Damien. We'll go next to Scott French from Soccer America. Scott, go ahead.
I just got remuted. Hey, Greg. This is a work in progress, obviously, and we're going to see bumps and so forth as we're going forward. What I'm wondering is where you feel like you are defensively as you're moving forward. Are you where you expect to be? And especially as we look forward to next week when you're playing against a team that has some pretty incredible offensive weapons.
Yeah, I mean the easy short answer is no. We're not where we want to be defensively. Not collectively, but defending is a lot of different things. Again, today losing too many balls between lines, not advancing our attacks deep enough into the opposition's half, not finishing enough tacks. When you lose balls between your lines, then you tend to put your group under a little bit more pressure and transition play. We did that tonight. Also defensively, I've said this, we have to get better at recognizing what is more dangerous than something else. Sometimes we go stepping out and trying to defend things that are less dangerous than the space that we're leaving, and it exposes us. That's something we have to get way better at. The second is, again, proactively organizing each other and pulling the group back together and not feeling like we have to chase every ball to press every ball and then transition press every ball, but actually just reorganizing our block and learning how to just defend to protect ourselves a little bit more. I think, we were a little over anxious to try to step to recover balls too fast, and we were just getting played through because we were creating gaps in between us. So again, it's a little bit of it's reading, a little bit's proactive defending and organizing as the opposition is moving and changing their shape. And some of it's just a behavior. Collectively, we just need to get our blocks back from front to back tighter, so that we can, when we aren't in control of the ball, or we can stay in control of the game from a defensive positioning. And today we struggled a bit, as I said, just with the with the wide spaces, the relationship between our fullbacks and our wide players struggled a lot today in managing the wide spaces, which ultimately they're a team that loves to whip balls in and cut balls back and get to the end line, and we did a poor job of managing that today, which is something we got to get better at. It just they're a very good team who's been together for a while, and it exposed a lot of things for us and for me that we need to continue to improve upon, and that's what today was.
Is the precision with defending with these elements? Does any of it have to do with, this is a new team, this is a new chemistry, this is a new philosophy that's come in, or is that just aside from it all?
No, it's definitely part of it. There's definitely part of it, but I think it's just also the individual recognizing that I can't leave a space and expose a space that is more dangerous to try to defend a space that is less dangerous. That's a personal, just reading behavioral sort of thing that we have to adjust with some guys that as a group that we need to adjust. If we can't get pressure to the ball and force the players' head to go down, then we can't leave the back line, we can't leave the midfield line, we can't leave the gaps that are in between us. So that's something that, again, we have to get better at reading. We'll work with individuals on that. And as a group, we need to recognize that it's okay if the center backs have the ball and we have 10 guys underneath the ball, 11 guys underneath the ball, and we regroup a little bit. And we needed to find a little bit more patience today in some of those. But also just with the way we set up, there was, again, where I say I didn't like it and it's on me, is we needed to protect our center backs better with two pivots instead of having the two guys a little bit higher today.
Thank you, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Scott. We'll go with Nikki K next with Spectrum Sportsnet. Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned in the first half not being able to get the ball from one side to the other on your attack. Did you feel like you had more success with that in the 4-4-2, and that's something you might stick with moving forward if you have that same kind of trouble with balance in your guys' attack?
Yeah, it could be. I think it's more of the individual who is receiving the ball, and the players who are on the ball need to prioritize, their body shape, getting themselves organized early, or getting the ball across the field. Because I didn't feel like it felt like it was there. It was open. It was available to us. And we sometimes didn't look beyond the initial pressure to play the ball to the second guy beyond the initial guy, right? We kept looking for the short pass. We kept looking for the guy who was 5 to 10 yards away instead of the guy who was 15 to 20 yards away, who would break the pressure and open up the game for us. So I thought the opportunity to do so. I mean, Jorge was sitting wide open for huge chunks of the first half in that space off the weak side, and we kept turning back to the sideline, and we kept putting ourselves under pressure, or we kept playing backwards when we had the chance to switch it and play a more forward pass or an angled forward pass. So it was more behavioral in many ways, and I thought obviously we highlighted it at halftime that it's something that really needed to change from a behavioral perspective in the second half, and we did so at times. So I think it's a combination of things. None of these things are just one thing, but as a group, we need to recognize when an opposition has enough numbers on one side, and we need to switch the ball to the other side. It's just something we have to continue to push within our group.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
We'll go with Katia Castorena with ESPN next. Katia, go ahead.
Thanks, Vicky. Hi, Greg. I wanted to ask you about Ephrata, what you saw of him during the week that he got the start today, and then just what you thought of his performance.
Yeah, he's been training hard, and he's a young guy with a lot of talent. And as the week was progressing, Adam didn't only train one day this week, and so I was a little tentative with him and starting him right away. And we put Ephrata in to play a bit during the week, and he had good days. And with his left foot spinning away from pressure, looking to switch the ball to the opposite side was something that I wanted him to look for a little bit more, because he can invite in some pressure. He spins away well, and then when he spins away, he's got the ball sitting on his left foot, and he can just swing it to the other side and unbalance it. So he has some good moments. He's a good player. He has to play in order for him to have the experiences he needs to grow. So it just, I didn't like it for us today in the setup. It wasn't him in particular. It was just the way we set up. But I think he's a young kid with a lot of talent, and a special left foot. And the other part was is just more. He needs more runners ahead of the ball, and today we didn't have enough runners ahead of the ball that for a young man like him to show his ability to hit the final pass, things like that.
Thank you.
We have time for two more. We'll go with Andy Diosa from Yahoo Sports. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, I just wanted to ask about your thoughts about Victor. Just a little clarification on the injury, him coming off, but just in general, the first 3 games, it seemed like he's been really comfortable, and you guys have both obviously talked about your time together before. What have you seen from him leadership-wise, just his ability on the field to be able to pick out those passes to Chicharito and to the other teammates?
Yeah, injury wise, he was starting to feel a little bit in his growing. It's not so easy to travel for 4 hours, get here, sit in a hotel, get in a bus, come to the game. I was a little concerned for our guys in that, and I think just sitting for so long, I just felt like he was starting to feel stress in the growing area. So when he was hitting passes and we got him out. Hopefully we got him out in time that he'll be okay. We'll see. There's a couple others that were a little bit tight like that. So that's the product of long travel the day of the game. It's problematic as far as I'm concerned, but we have to do it. So as far as Victor, just his ability to organize a space and organize his body and to be so aware of the field and where everything is, where defenders are, where pressure's coming from, and he does that early and he gets himself ready, and so he already knows what the next 2 or 3 options start to look like before he gets the ball. And then obviously he's calm because he knows that. He's calm because his technique is so clean. And then Javier is able to organize his runs off of Victor being in spaces and knows that the ball's going to come. So, they're qualities of a very smart and very intelligent player who obviously has technical ability. And so within our structure, I tried to keep him a little bit closer to Javier today at times to see if they could combine off of each other. And then the second half, we put him out a little bit wider into a space where he could open up a little bit more and see if he could get facing forward a little bit more maybe than he did at times in the first half. So, but he's just such a smart player and such a good technical player that it's easy. He could play in any team and figure it out and sort out the game.
We'll go last question with Josh Gesman with Corner of the Galaxy. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, through the first 2 games, you could say that you sort of had some defining wins that sort of helped move the project along. Is this a step backwards for that, or can you guys learn a lot from this and make this a step forwards whenever you didn't necessarily get the result?
No, it's a step back from our getting points and the confidence you build from every win. This is a bit of a reality check for all of us, for myself, for everybody. When I say reality is it's also getting to know each other, getting to understand the style and where we are against a team that's played in the finals so many times over the last several years. Like they are, they're still, for me, the standard of teams between their experiences and what they've done as a group together for the last 5 years. They're still the standard. You can talk about any other team in the league. They're still the standard for what it needs to be done. They have a lot of experienced players who've played together in a lot of big games and a lot of big moments. And they're very comfortable on the field together. So for us, it was a challenge to see a little bit of where we're at. And some things that we need to continue to improve upon. I think we are better than what we showed today. If we approach the game a little bit differently to start and we're a little bit smarter about some of our decisions and some of those things, and we're better than we are today, but it also showed us some things that we need to continue to prove on if we want to get to that level where we're competing to win championships.